Namaste. As everyone fixates on yet another solar eclipse on December 4th, I wanted to make this video to remind everyone that astrology is not just about the next solar eclipse, blood moon, and the impending doom or ascension, or even matching horoscopes to find love. This ancient healing system, born in the cradle of civilization, in fact, it's the oldest healing system, I think, it contains within it the wisdom to help us convert our personal suffering and alienation, both in our intimate relationships as well as our relationships to our community, nature, and the planet, into transcendental and sustainable love that each of us is seeking. My personal journey of understanding how to develop love and compassion for myself and others started, I believe, when my Guru Amma asked me to consider studying Jyotish back in 1993. And it's hard to imagine now, but frankly, I was really taken aback and somewhat disappointed. Because like most yogis, I was immersed in yoga, Ayurveda, meditation, and mantra practice. And Vedic astrology just seemed out of context and superfluous to my personal spiritual journey. I had received one Vedic astrology reading, a really good one, and I was astounded by the accuracy with which the astrologer had pinpointed the dates of certain events in my life. Yet, it felt more like an encounter with a psychic or a magician than relevant to the path of love, compassion, joy, and devotion that I was seeking. So Amma responded to my apprehension. She saw it on my face, and she responded to it by saying, you do it with love. And that was it. And I've spent the last 25 years, almost 3 decades now, trying to figure out what did she mean. Amma also says, when a poet sees a flower, he writes poetry about it. A scientist conducts research on it, and a boyfriend gives it to his girlfriend. A worm eats it. A devotee of God offers it to God. Similarly, she says that each person comes with their own unique attitude. So astrology, I think, teaches us how to gain this 360-degree view of the human experience, so we can begin to have a deep understanding of the profound differences in human psyche and consciousness. And as 2021 comes to an end, never has this knowledge of the whole sphere of life or the whole zodiac been more critical than now, as we're getting more and more divided into smaller and smaller factions and extremes. And in my over 2 decades of counseling and mentoring my fellow travelers on their life journeys, I have witnessed acute suffering in people's lives, most of which I believe is linked to the painful challenges of not belonging and not finding love, be it with our children, our partner, our parents, our colleagues, friends, or even our guru. So unless you sit in my chair in the counseling room, you will never believe how common it is for good people with good and best of intentions to fall into emotional alienation and blame others for all their suffering. So astrology teaches us that this is not necessarily a psychological failing, or the popular term narcissism, or a symptom of something wrong with us, but rather it's a universal phenomena. We all experience ourselves and others through the fixed lens of our biases and our karma reflected in our Vedic horoscope. So our karma is an implicit and emotional template, or what I call personal myth in my book, which results in the narrative of our life story. And this is especially true when we are emotionally triggered, really we are in a heightened emotional state, or we feel threatened, get angry, or even if we are highly attracted to another person. So Vedic astrology emphasizes the moon sign often more than the sun sign, because when emotions are heightened, we fail to see or hear things as they are. Because remember, the moon rules memory and our capacity to accurately recall memories. So unless you have an absolutely perfect moon, in most people, even a recent memory or experience has been scientifically documented to contain a tremendous amount of bias and confusion. So our moon tends to shape situations to fit our inner narrative, which is born of our childhood experiences and even ancestral memories, and perceives not only others' intentions, but misperceive not only our intentions, but those of others as well. So as a result, we succumb to fate. And this is not just the moon, it's the whole horoscope, but the moon is very critical because it's where we land on when we are emotionally, triggered. So, and this is what allows the astrologer to accurately predict our fate, and have the free range to make accurate predictions. I personally myself have just as complex and demanding a family life like all my clients, and relationships like all my clients. But I have witnessed firsthand the benefits of Vedic astrology counseling in navigating my own life as well as those of others, by learning to evolve the love that we take personally based on our karma, our personal myth, or our inner narrative, and transmuting that into universal or transcendental love that comes from embracing the unique vantage point of each horoscope, each planet, each house, and each sign. Most importantly, I think that Vedic astrology can teach us how to become a witness rather than the judge and jury in our interpersonal relationships. And equanimity and patience will naturally follow as you begin to deepen your study of Vedic astrology, as well as understand the unfolding dashas, or planetary seasons in each horoscope, which show us that each life story unfolds with its own distinct rhythm and timing, and cannot be forced through lectures or judgment, slowed down or even accelerated at times. So I wrote my book, Before Your Future, to move the needle one step closer to making Jyotish as widely accessible as yoga and Ayurveda. I wanted this knowledge to be accessible to everyone, not just the astrologer and not just people who've spent decades studying Vedic astrology. I've retained the purity of the ancient knowledge of Vedic astrology, but I'm also offering a contemporary, step-by-step approach so everyone can access their inner narrative, personal myth, and life story, potential life story, that the astrologer is going to predict. I've also demonstrated the importance of the intersection of Ayurveda and Yoga for all of you who are immersed in these Vedic sciences. And I've also integrated mythology, both modern and ancient, storytelling, psychology, and science. To make this a really engaging and fun book as well. And finally, I really wrote this book to guide you to live your life in love and harmony with your own nature by discovering your true nature, your true self-knowledge of your Vedic horoscope, and your intimate relationships and community, as well as the natural world. If you want to dive deeper, once you've looked through the book, please also consider the companion self-study integrative Vedic astrology counseling course that I have, which has over 25 hours of video content for the price of one reading with me, as well as exercises and other tools to help you deepen and study your own horoscope, get to know your own horoscope and those of your loved ones and your intimate relationships. And I hope, and as December 4th, the solar eclipse approaches, December 4th, 2021 comes to an end. Please do some contemplation on Saturday. This is a powerful solar eclipse happening in the sign of Scorpio. And Ketu is involved. And pray for world peace and joy, love, and compassion to expand in our hearts and around the world. Blessings. Namaste.